Today on Clubhouse Gas, we've got the Pin Man. No, it's not bowling, and it's not part 2 of the acupuncture show either. Today we're talking with Mr. Harold Whitney, who arguably has one of the best collection of Little League pins in the country. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, so Harold, how did you get your start in pin trading?
Well, the Little League baseball side of it comes first. I've been a Little League coach for approximately 35 years. I'm retired now. In 1983, my Murphy Candler team lost to Mr. Hilton, Richard Hilton, and his East Marietta team, who went on to win the World Series. He was very complimentary of our team. And he and I became good friends after that. And he's told me if I ever got a chance to go to Williamsport for the World Series, I should do that. And so in 1986, that time came. And I went to Williamsport thinking I was going to just see the ball games, which I would have enjoyed, but I was introduced to the world of pin trading. People at that time were just starting to bring Little League pins to the World Series. And what they do is they make a pin that's indigenous to their area, where they're from. As you saw in the Nevada board, people in Nevada make poker chips. And so that's representative of where they're from, and it's also something they take to Williamsport to trade. So I got hooked. And I started making my first pins that were in the shape of the state of Georgia, reflective of the league that I'm from and the district that I'm from. And then I went back in 87, again in 89, and next week I'll be going to my 13th World Series with pins, new pins that I've created to trade.
Do you remember your first pin?
I remember the first pin that I made. I don't specifically remember the first pin I traded for, but the first pin I made was a small pin in the shape of the state of Georgia. And I became known as the Georgia Man because Richard did not really go up there to trade pins, but I did. And I was the one guy that brought pins from Georgia. And so I became known as the Georgia Man. Look for the guy with the Georgia cap on.
So it's been over 20 years now.
That's correct.
That you've been in the pin
That's
trading.
Correct.
How many pins have you collected in that time?
I like to keep my collection to about 10,000. And so as I acquire pins that exceed 10,000, I donate the excess to charity.
Okay. Do you have a specific charity?
Yes. It's a charity called the Tim Radovian Memorial Fund. And it's a charity that was created by very good friends of mine that I met during my coaching career at the ballpark. The charity is set up to raise money in the memory of Tim Radovian, who was the 6th of a ball-playing family out of 6. And he was the one in the family that did not like baseball. So his big thing was the performing arts. And regrettably, in his late teenage years, he contracted a rare virus and died within a very short time. So the mother then decided to form this charity, and the charity is designed to provide scholarships for young people to go to seminars, say in New York, places like that, and get their first exposure to formal teaching in the performing arts. And I believe that her current listing says that we have raised $22,000 for this charity in the sale of Little League pins.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How does the auction take place?
Well, they are auctioned off on eBay. And in a given point in time, there are, I would say, 300 to 400 individual auctions going on eBay for Little League pins. I just checked this morning, and the number is like 372.
So if you have between 10 and 15,000 pins at any given time, and maybe more, how do you decide which ones you're going to trade?
You basically trade your new creations in a given year. And so this year, I have created a series of pins that honor the 3 world championships that Georgia has produced in their history. And it's called Georgia's World Championship Trifecta. We've had only 3 teams go to the World Series, and all 3 won the World Championship.
What are those teams?
Well, we have East Marietta in 1983, we have Columbus Northern in 2006, and we have Warner Robins last year, 2007.
So in all this time, what's kept you doing it? What's the best part about pin trading?
The best part is the people you meet. A good friend of mine at Buckhead, Gift Johnson, is an example. We met through Little League Baseball and pin trading, and we have a friendship today that I think is very cordial and warm, and it transcends Little League and pin trading. But it's all the people you meet and the people you continue to see when you go back year after year after year that all share the same common love for pin trading and Little League Baseball.
And so how big is it up at Williamsport? How does it go down up there?
Well, there are 32 teams that come from all over the world, and they have 2 magnificent stadiums that Little League ball is played on. Every game that's played up there is on national television, and I believe the announced attendance for all of the games last year was 330,000 people, and roughly 35 to 40,000 watched the last game.
And so how many pins? There's over 330,000 up there. How many pins are going?
One friend of mine has a collection that he feels exceeds 30,000 pins. I've never seen it, but the guy's been coming up there for many years. I don't mind mentioning his name. His name is Dwayne Brown, and he currently lives in Nevada. And I look forward to meeting Dwayne every year and seeing the new pins he's created and showing him my new pins that I've created, and we trade.
Well, we sure would like to maybe see you up there and see how it goes down. Is that something you might be interested in?
Of course. I will leave next Friday, the 15th, and be up there for the roughly 10 days that it takes to determine a world champion.
All right. Thank you very much, Harold.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And thank you for watching this edition of Clubhouse Gas. We'll see you next time.